All right, Shalom, giving all praises and glory to our power Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chakodash, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopefully elect of the tabernacles of David, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, maybe you may be, maybe you may be, you I say Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, this is going to be a short video, short conversation, short topic, all right, but it's a very important topic here. So I had a random question here. So I typed in, how close is the world to a digital currency? Random question, but I had some thoughts. So this popped up, says the world is rapidly moving towards central bank digital currencies, which are CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, the key word being digital, or all paper currency is going to be digital, not just American dollar, right? Whatever it is, the euros, the yens, the pesos, the rubles, the renminbi, all these different, forms of paper currency across the globe are going to go digital. All right. So it says with 137 countries. Hold on. So it says with 137 countries and currency unions representing 98% of global GDP. I think it stands for gross domestic product, if I'm correct. So 98% of global GDP, exploring the option. All right. So it says 137 countries and currency unions representing 98% of global GDP, exploring the option. While full global adoption is not yet here, significant progress is being made. All right. So current status of national digital currencies. 3 countries have fully launched a national digital currency, retail CBDC, for public use. The Bahamas with the Sand Dollar, Jamaica with Jamdex, Nigeria with the e-Naira. Many other major economies are in advanced stages of development, including pilot programs involving millions of citizens. China has the largest pilot program globally. All right, China has the largest pilot program globally, with its digital yuan, or ECNY, being tested across 17 provincial regions. Right, China also has a social credit scoring system that's underway with mass surveillance, facial recognition, and using apps to pay for things by way of your phone, which has your social credit score linked into the whole system or whatever. They gotta scan these barcodes, or not barcodes, but what they call them. I forgot the name of them. Not barcodes though. QR codes. All right. So yeah. So China's probably deepest in to the digital system period in general. India's e-rupee is the second largest pilot and is expanding with new use cases in 2025. Okay, which is this year, obviously. The European Central Bank, ECB, is in a preparation phase for the digital euro. Check this out, and plans a pilot exercise to begin in 2027 with a potential issuance by 2029, just in time for their Agenda 2030, huh? And it's very interesting how it talks about here digital euro and plans pilot exercises to begin in 2027, when as of right now they're talking about what? You can't work unless you have a digital identity. This is the thing that they're starting to push forward. And so that digital identity is going to transfer, to the ultimate system. All right. Because it all boils down to the MOTB through, and this digital system. The United Kingdom is in the design phase for a potential digital pound. The United States is exploring wholesale CBDC research through Project Agora, which I typed it in down below, and it actually led me to get a couple of things, and this is going to make up the bulk of the video. So, but has halted all work on retail CBDC as of early 2025. But of course, that's probably in the background. Because it's 2025 and America has not slowed down one bit. That's just what this thing is saying here. So key insights: global momentum. The number of countries exploring CBDCs has jumped dramatically in the last few years, from only 35 in May 2020 to 137 in July 2025. All right, motivation. Central banks are driven by the decline in cash use, the need for more efficient payment systems, especially for cross-border transactions, and in response to the rise of private cryptocurrencies and stablecoins. Okay, which I believe stablecoin is briefly talked about in one of those videos there, but pretty much with the stablecoin they gave it a 1-to-1 ratio, which doesn't seem like much, but when you have something, let's say it's a 1-to-10 ratio, so they'll let's make it even better, 1-to-20. So they'll tell you that for every 20 American dollars is one stable coin. That'll push people away. But when you say every one American dollar is equal to one stable coin, that'll make people actually want to invest in it. Like, okay, well, I guess I'll put, I don't know, let's see what I can do with $50. So now you have 50 stable coin. All right. Which, stable coin is far from being the final product. But that's just, example of, because that stable coin was placed at a 1-to-1 ratio. Challenges: widespread adoption faces hurdles, including regulatory uncertainty, privacy concerns, cybersecurity risks, and the need to build public trust and user-friendly systems. Future outlook: the transition is ongoing and hold on, my screen is cracked. Okay, the transition is ongoing and expected to be phased, with many more countries likely to launch their digital currencies by what? 2030. All right. Now, put it in down here below, Project Agora, so it can give me some information on this. There it is right there, Project Agora. So Project Agora is a collaborative initiative led by the Bank for International Settlements, or the BIS, Innovation Hub, and the Institute of International Finance, the IIF, that explores using tokenization on the unified ledger to make wholesale cross-border payments faster, cheaper, and more transparent. Okay, and it's starting with these businesses. Any business that's not going to be in line with the new form of currency is going to be out of business. All right, and then there's certain businesses that are going to be put out anyways because they're just not what Esau wants. Okay, moving forward. So key objectives: improve efficiency. All right, because we're going to come to a point where well, actually, that somewhat, well, we'll just make it straight. If you don't have the chip, you're not going to shop in these stores. Okay. Key objectives: improve but this is about the CBDC. I was just making a point with that. Improve efficiency. Address the current inefficiencies of cross-border payments, which are often slow, expensive, and opaque due to complex correspondent banking networks. Yeah, we got to mention that FedNow app. All right. Notice how it hasn't been talked about since, what was it, a year or two ago? It hasn't been mentioned since it was a big talk. Then it came out, and then that was it. They moved on, but really they didn't, because that was supposed to be one of the apps that are supposed to make international trade smooth, right? Between digital banks, and the big thing about that is they're talking about all the transactions are instant. I don't have to wait to send $1,000 to somebody in this state or in some country somewhere where it has to clear for 24 to maybe 48 hours or even longer, depending on how much the amount of money it is. But it's an immediate transaction, right? Explore tokenization. Investigate how combining tokenized commercial bank deposits and tokenized wholesale central bank money on a shared programmable ledger could streamline the process. All right. Enhance compliance. Use smart contracts. Use smart contracts to automate compliance steps like anti-money laundering checks at the beginning of a transaction, reducing delays caused by multiple independent screenings by different intermediary banks. All right. Provide a regulated alternative. Offer a regulated alternative to private stablecoins for institutional payments, leveraging the stability of central bank money. So participants and status. The project is a public-private collaboration that brings together seven central banks and more than 40 private financial firms. Participating banks, and notice how it doesn't list the firms, but it does list the banks. Participating central banks: Bank of England, Bank of France, Bank of Japan, Korea, Mexico, Swiss National Bank, Federal Reserve Bank of NY. All right. Private sector participants: over 40 firms, including major commercial banks. Example given: Citi, HSBC, Dutch Bank, JP Morgan, and global infrastructure providers, e.g., example given, Swift, Visa, MasterCard. And all this stuff is run by propeller hats, man. Okay. Esau. All right. Because like the scriptures say, the earth has been given to the hands of the wicked. Okay, and as the scriptures also say, 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we're not ignorant of his devices. Okay, and we know that they're moving towards a digital system, right? Making, try to digitize everybody, okay, and ultimately microchip everybody. So current status as of October 2025, the project has moved from the design phase to the prototype building phase. All right. As of October 2025, just passing, right? The project has moved from the design phase to the prototype building phase. A final report on the lessons learned. See, that's why they do trial and error, data collection, all this different stuff. A final report on the lessons learned and a description of the prototype design are expected in the first half of 2026. Okay, in 2026. May be a crazy year. I don't think I have anything else down here. All right, so let me pause this real quick. Okay, and we jump over now to these few clips that I have. As you see, combined together, they're only 5 minutes and 24 seconds, but there's about 4 of them. And this is the lady talking about the whole, well, not the whole system, but just give you a brief rundown. Okay.
Now, Agora is a name that has been chosen with great care. In ancient Greece, Agora was the marketplace, or the place where citizens would gather to decide things. And in our upcoming digital marketplace, the public and private sector will meet with the ambition of developing a new paradigm for improving cross-border payments. We will embrace new technologies as well as laying down the legal foundations and business processes for new forms of financial infrastructure. The real magic of innovation is to open up possibilities that were not there before. And in this case, the project Agora aims to combine wholesale versions of both tokenized central bank money and commercial bank deposits on a unified programmable platform or ledger.
In which this next video is going into, which there's no audio, it's just a clip, and I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it because it's kind of small. But then again, I'm also, using a cell phone, so you might be sitting in front of a laptop or something, so it might come up bigger. But what she just talked about, this video is actually from well, not a site, but like a YouTube channel about Project Agora. Okay, so I took this from there.
This can potentially... Introducing Project Agora's all-in-one platform.
Okay, so Salakia, I thought it was just playing the video. Okay, so she is talking. All right, so cool.
Publisher success. Empower your teams to prioritize profit-driving actions in 3 complementary ways. Number 1, observe. Consolidate every aspect affecting your website revenue under a central overview dashboard. Project Agora connects and tracks all your revenue data effortlessly. It monitors your traffic sources, SEO ranking, and user engagement metrics. It keeps a close eye on your site's performance, including core Web Vitals insights. To top it off, our Observe module features an advanced incidence functionality, detecting anomalies causing potential revenue loss. It's like having a guardian for your website, alerting you to potential incidents before they become major problems. Number 2, analyze. With our Analyze module, we help you deep dive into your unified revenue by seamlessly integrating data from all your advertising partners. Understand trends across any of your websites by format, partner, type. Number 3, monetize. Project Agora's Monetize module connects your website with multiple technology partners to help monetize native advertising, display, and video inventory. Project Agora's all-in-one platform. Be confident that your business is running at peak profitability.
And yeah, and so that's not really important to us. in particular, that's more say for these businesses or these banks or whatever. Okay, for them, all right, a system for them to operate with and under. Okay, because yeah, this all that is just just some of the ins and outs of this project Agora. It wasn't obviously wasn't too deep, too heavy there. But like I said, it's all geared up for the central banks, okay, the digital currencies, all right, which also leads, it's right in line with the MOTB, which, as a matter of fact, let me just get that scripture real quick, where I think it says with the hour of temptation in Revelation. I think it's 3, not 13. I think 13:10 is the other scripture. Okay, yeah. Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, all right, I also will keep thee, which patience goes into, we have to wait on the Lord, but it also goes into suffering, all right, and during, this time that we're here, okay, that's why the scriptures tell us that in Yahushua, in the world you're going to have tribulation, but in me you'll have peace, okay, but because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation. That's the mandatory implementation of the RFID micro C hip, right? And that's going to connect you to the digital bank, because without it, you can't buy or sell. Revelation 13, 16, 17, 18. Okay. Which shall come upon all the world, meaning everybody, because that word world there, we're not in the blue, but that word world there is oikoumene, all right? Meaning everybody on the inhabited earth, the planet, okay? They don't care if you're old or young, anywhere in between, or if you're a newborn baby, all right? They want to see hip you under this system, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Okay, behold, I come quickly, hold fast. Hold that fast which thou hast, hold it tightly, this truth, that no man take thy crown. Okay, which is a very important scripture. So when you go back here, we'll play this next video here, because we'll get that.
Donald Trump has just banned central bank digital currencies in the United States via something called the Genius Act. Genius is an acronym for Guiding and Establishing the National Innovation of the United States Stablecoins.
And I'm pretty sure we all heard about the Genius Act, but we're not going to go into that right now, okay? Because that has come up. It's not old as in it was like 10 years ago. It was very recent, but I'm just saying it's a past topic now. All right, but not out of date, if that makes sense.
In its most basic form, it means that there is a claim on the central bank and that the Federal Reserve must have $1 for every issued stablecoin. Many people are fearful that stablecoins could become the central bank digital currency.
And that's what we talked about earlier, when we talked about the 1-to-1 ratio, where we gave the example. If something's at a 1-to-20 ratio, then you say I have to pay 20 of whatever type of currency I have for this one, I would say digital coin or whatever. I'm not sure if I want to do that. That's a loss out of my pockets. But when it's a 1-to-1 ratio, it'll make a person more, inclined to make an investment into it. All right. But of course, with force and pressure, he's always going to try to push everybody to digitize it anyway. So you get the point with that.
But my research leads me to believe that stablecoins do not have the infrastructure required. Yes, they will be unified and solidified through the Federal Reserve. But the problem with Donald Trump's statement is that central bank digital currencies may not be sovereign to the United States.
And I don't know how I didn't even read that before, but it says the CBDC trap, all right? The CBDC, the central bank digital currency trap. I don't know how I didn't even read that before.
For example, the European Central Bank is looking to produce a digital euro by as soon as October 2025.
Which obviously that's past now, but doesn't mean they're not working on it or moving forward. As we mentioned before, I think his name is Keir Starmer. I think he was one that made the announcement that those people are not going to be able to work without having a digital ID. And that digital identity is basically going to, eventually work up to, microchipping people, all right, where you can't buy or sell save you that had the mark of the beast and the number of the name, okay? And that's how they get plugged into the digital system. And as which I didn't have to go into that, but the lady spoke before, Project Agora, being the marketplace, and this is the digital marketplace. Okay, so I mean, it's right there, so it makes sense.
There will be three types of central bank digital currencies. Direct, which is a claim on the central bank. Intermediated, which will be a venture between the central banks and commercial banks.
Let me run it back because I kind of missed a little bit there.
Euro, by as soon as October 2025. There will be three types of central bank digital currencies. Direct, which is a claim on the central bank. Intermediated, which will be a venture between the central banks and commercial banks. And the final one is synthetic, through corporations. While everybody has been looking and focused on the Genius Act and celebrating the end of central bank digital currencies in the United States, what everybody missed was Project Agora.
Yeah, because I think at one point Trump was talking about how he was against I don't think he exactly said against it, but, he came as if he was against it. But, he has an agenda. He has a role to play. He has a script he has to follow. So, when the time comes, that's when these people do what they have to do, all right, because they have a script, especially the president of all people, because he's the face, of the country, all right. He's been propped up, so he has one of the strictest scripts because the people are looking towards him, right?
Joint venture between the Bank of Mexico, Bank of Japan, the Bank of France, the Swiss National Bank, the Bank for International Settlements, and of course the Federal Reserve.
And that's exactly what we read earlier from the AI mode thing.
Project Agora is not due for completion until the end of 2025, and its purpose to create a central bank digital currency. Now you know. Make good choices.
The world's financial system is being completely rewired. It's called Project Agora, and it's the biggest central bank digital currency project in history. 41 of the world's largest companies just teamed up with 7 central banks. We're talking MasterCard, Visa, Citi, HSBC, and even Swift. They're building a unified ledger to connect all forms of tokenized money. The firm managing the project, EY, is the same one building the UK's digital currency network, which is designed to connect directly to Agora. This isn't just a test anymore. They are building the one global system for the future of money.
Yeah, Esau system. Oh yeah, I saw I was gonna get something. What was that? I was thinking about something earlier. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I'll read it. Where was it at? I think it was here. Yeah. All right. It says, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. Talking about Esau, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. Okay, he steals resources, he takes over land, and so on and so forth, and ultimately he's trying to take over the people themselves by microchipping them. Okay, shall not all these take up a parable against him? Because he's trying to prop himself up as God and take over the earth forever, all right, in his mind, right, in his vain thoughts, is that their houses shall continue forever. Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, how long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And when you go into that word thick clay in the Hebrew is ibatyat, which means heavy debt, okay? Because at some point Esau is going to, however he's going to, flip the switch, okay, maybe through an EMP strike, take everything offline, bring everything back online, or some kind of smooth. He's going to have some kind of transition where he's just going to take that next step where all the paper currency is done away with and everything is digital. But there's a certain way he has to get to it. There's certain things that have to be laid down and in play before he can ultimately bring out the microchip itself. All right, and a part of that whole system. All right, a major part of it is the digital banking system, because that's what brings all that stuff through them. All right, the money. All right, is going to be on it's just digital. It's just like the Matrix, the zeros and ones. That's all it is, zeros and ones on the computer screen, and it'll all be monitored and controlled by them because paper currency you can't monitor. All right, and he'll try to compel the people that want to do this, because everybody has some form of debt, and then you got people complaining in the economy, about the current state of the economy. So you present them with something like the UBI, universal basic income, and they're going to want to take it. All right. But these are all things like the guy had on the screen, solid trap, the CBDC trap. All right. The whole everything's a trap. All right. Esau, all right, is laying that snare because he's preparing. All right. 2025, 2026. All right. He's going to keep churning that butter. All right. But like the scripture say, that he shall not perform his enterprise, because when he is he's about to fill his belly. All right. When he's about to, finally, think he's going to hit the kill switch on the whole planet. All right. The Lord's going to upset, what he's got planned. So I'm going to leave it at that. Lord willing, you edify to next time. I'm going to say shalom.